You probably know that central bank digital currency is coming. There's a lot of buzz about CBDC. You probably know that CBDC cannot be exchanged privately. The government and the government's friends and partners will have record of every cent you spend, where you are when you spend it, and what you spend it on. You probably know that the people who issue and control CBDC can program that currency, so you will not be able to buy anything that the currency controllers do not want you to buy. The cashier will literally tell you your money will not buy that today. You probably know that they can put an expiration date on your CBDC, which is a fancy way of saying on a certain date they can take your money away from you. So if they want to stimulate the economy or simply collect more taxes, they can make your CBDC disappear on a selected date, which will force you to spend your money quickly on something you don't need, and this will prevent you from putting that money into savings and building your wealth. You probably know all that. You probably know their plan is to eliminate the use of cash, so you will be forced to use the digital monetary surveillance currency. But do you know what you can do about that? Do you know how to keep your financial business private, safe, and under your control? Here are some ways we should be able to do that. Suppose you want to shop at a certain supermarket. You don't just walk in and buy your groceries with your CBDC, even though you could do that. Before you do that, you ask for the manager of the store, and you say to that manager, I would like to buy my groceries here today, but I do not want to use CBDC. What method of payment can you offer me that is private, safe, and secure? Then be very quiet. Stand there and look at that grocery store manager and listen very carefully to what they say. If they do not offer you a safe and private method of payment, politely tell the store manager that you will not be buying your groceries there until they provide a safe and private method of payment. And then walk out. Only if sellers know that they are losing business by using CBDC will they put their thinking cap on and start to worry about what their customers want and stop worrying about what globalist bankers want. This is how CBDC will be defeated, if it ever is. You and I and everyone else will insist on private methods of payment. We will speak up everywhere we pay money. Your utility company, your insurance company, your mortgage lender, even your tax collector. You tell them that you do not want to exchange in controlled surveillance currency and you need a safe and private method of payment. They might get very creative like the supermarkets did with their rewards cards. What is a rewards card? It's an alternative form of currency, a private currency. What is gold and silver? It's a perfectly lawful, safe, and private currency. If you want to buy something for $30 and an ounce of silver is worth $30, that is a way to use private currency if your seller is not too stupid to take perfect sound money. Carry a few silver 1-ounce coins around with you. Be ready to offer those as payment. Be ready to refuse the transaction if they do not take your silver or some form of secure private payment. Do you control your life, or do you let other people control your life? If you would like to control your life, prepare yourself to actually control something. When someone tries to get you to use CBDC or a digital form of currency, tell them no. Control that transaction. You are not being unreasonable. You are trying to not be spied on. You're trying to not be manipulated, to not use fake money that someone else controls and not be taxed on a transaction that the government has no right to tax. That is perfectly reasonable. You are not being a nuisance. You are simply drawing the line so that you will not be taken advantage of, swindled, and spied on. If you do understand CBDC, then you will understand that the unreasonable thing for anyone to do is expect you to use it, to expect you to allow someone else to watch you, to control you, to manipulate you, and sometimes steal your private earnings. That is what is unreasonable. Maybe they will roll out CBDC very slowly and use that boiling frog technique. Maybe it will seem very fair and easy at first, just like the maximum income tax rate was 7% in 1914, and by 1920, the maximum income tax rate magically flew up to 73%, just because the government said so. Government starts slow, don't they? Then when they get the program rolling, they change the numbers, don't they? They change the rules once they get their foot in the door. If you dabble in CBDC, if you participate in the rollout, you will be trapped in a game of bait and switch. If government rolls out a CBDC, you really have no choice but to aggressively look for alternatives. You will have to discuss that with everyone you exchange money with. You will have to figure out how to handle dealing in multiple alternative currencies with different people and different businesses. You'll have to pressure those businesses to help you avoid the fully controlled CBDC currency. Here's one way you could do this as an example. Again, say to your grocer, you want to buy a rewards card for $300 with your CBDC. You get your rewards card. Now only your grocery store knows what you bought. Now your grocery store will not refuse or incentivize your purchases. Now hopefully the grocery store will not seize or expire your money. And now you will not be participating in a currency scam designed to allow the government to spy on you, to control what you buy, to expire your currency, to manipulate your financial behavior, and to diminish the value of your currency by doing all those things. Your grocery store will know they will have to help you stay private and free if they want your business. They will have to respect those rights in the policies they create for the rewards card. There's no way to create any law that prevents the use of private currency. We can use seashells, gummy bears, or IOU slips as currency. There is no difference between an alternative currency and a bartered item. There is no way for government to prevent our use of our own private currency, certainly no lawful way. By the way, if the government tries to pass a law to make some harmless behavior illegal, harmless behavior like using your own private currency, that law is unconstitutional and is unenforceable. Government has no authority to determine what might be used as private currency. So by trying to force us to use CBDC, government and central banks will be forcing us to create and use our own private currencies so that we will not be tracked, spied on, and controlled like slaves or convicts in a prison. Every kind of digital currency can be tracked, controlled, and manipulated. Using cryptocurrency such as Bitcoin will not protect you. It is visible and can be easily manipulated, devalued, destroyed, criminalized, monitored, and confiscated. Just like the only way to be sure you are not tracked by your cell phone is to not have a cell phone with you, the only way to maintain your privacy and control with currency is to not use digital forms of currency. And it's not just the new CBDC. Our credit cards, our debit cards, automatic payments, and even checks are digital transactions. So monitoring and surveillance is already well underway. But when that CBD starts to take hold, then we will experience the nightmare of a currency that is not only being watched, but it is controlling our purchases and is expiring into thin air right out of our bank accounts. Every digital network is a spy network. That is what digital technology is good for. That is what digital technology was developed for. And if you use digital technology, you are playing games in someone else's house. And they are making up all the rules. They know that people will resist CBDC, so they are going to make it look exactly like the cards you use today. They will have different bank names, company names on those cards, just like today. But we have to start finding ways to exchange value and transact privately, securely outside of that digital matrix. Be creative, be experimental, be brave, because it's better to be brave than be a slave.